Moab, bro! Yo, bro, you stoked for Moab?
Oh yeah, I'm so stoked for Moab. Oh, I'm so hard for Moab.
Yo, man, bro, burnout marks on geological rock formations and ancient riverbeds. Shaka, brah. I wear my sunglasses upside down and backwards. Yo, bro, I'm taking my vaporizer to Moab. Okay, Jackie, I went to your sister's wedding where she married her goblin girlfriend and your dad got shame plastered on a 24-pack of Bud Light Lime and crashed the catering golf cart into a pet cemetery. So you're coming with me to Moab? Yeah, Detroit lockers. Speed lockers.
Nipple clips.
Got my fire extinguisher strapped to the A-pillar. Remote kill starters. Transfer cases. DMT. Oh yeah, Moab. If you can read this, roll me over.
Moab.
Runner gets down, good lord. Got me off-roading all over town. To the business, don't play around. Got much ground clearance, here's what I found. While it ain't Kia Forte, drive it every day, Toyota way. Can't get enough EFI, thinking about Moab all the time.
This is a 1986 Toyota 4Runner. The 80s designs for Toyota was very sleek and simple. For reference, Moab is a city in eastern Utah. It's the ideal playground for a 4Runner. The annual Moab 4Runner foray is to off-roading enthusiasts what Music Fest is to people who like to pretend to like jazz. Moab, Utah is like this unmolested utopia for people who own 4Runners and who like to make them climb things. Vertically. Just so you know, the background of this video isn't Moab, Utah. It's Nederland, Colorado. We could imagine that getting a 4Runner up to the top of Poison Spider Mesa or Hell's Revenge would be a tall order in itself, so when you actually do get up there, it'd sort of be like taking the newborn Lion King up to the top of Pride Rock. You're proclaiming something for its own sake. You're showing the world that just because you dropped from 150 factory horsepower because of altitude down to 80 horsepower, that doesn't mean you can't still tear white-hot ass across Utah. The first-gen 4Runner is the best known, and it's the best loved of them all. It was in production from 1984 until 1989. That was only 5 years. The reason everybody likes the first-gen 4Runner is because it's a platform. You see, when it started, and this is not a stock 4Runner, and we'll get to it in a minute, the stock 4Runner has independent suspension and, from the perspective of modern SUVs, quite low to the ground. And it didn't come with big tires either. You can really see this if you can contrast a first-generation 4Runner to a fourth-generation 4Runner. The fourth-generation 4Runner is a rolling supermarket where kids cough on all the produce. The first generation has so much more character. It's made to be off-road. Just look at it. This is a red, jacked-up comeback to any yo mama joke the playground could throw at you. Yo mama's so fat she needs to make 2 trips to haul ass. Yo mama's ass is so wide she has to lift the seat to take a dump. Oh yeah, here's another thing. The owner of this 4Runner gets asked constantly if he's been to, going to, or coming back from Moab. Let's get to it. Here is the short list of everything done to this 86 4Runner. First up, the engine. Nothing. This is the stock factory 22RE 2.4 liter, 114 horsepower, and 140 foot-pounds of glory. Drivetrain. Factory W56 manual 471 transfer case built by Marlin Crawler with twin sticks, extended long travel front drive shaft with high clearance CV. Suspension. All of the factory suspension and mounting points have been removed. This 4Runner has been converted to solid axle leaf springs all around, 3-inch lift springs with Dave's no death wobble shakers up front, and Chevy 63 rear springs with add-a-leaf and inboard shocks. Steering. Crossover high steer with FJ80 TREs, which is over axle and springs, and upgraded pitman arm. Front axle. The front axle is from a 1983 Hilux, which has been rebuilt with all Marlin Crawler parts, differential armor, fully gusseted, and 488 gears, and an Aussie locker. Rear axle. Solid rear axle, 488 gears again, and a Detroit locker. The armor. An addicted off-road front winch bumper, rock sliders, and the owner welded up his own rear bumper and a hitch. Tires. 35, 12.5, 15 Goodyear MTRs with Kevlar. He used to have 37s on recentered H1 military double bead locks, but those were over 150 pounds for the wheel and the tire, so that didn't work to his liking. Interior. Almost nothing. It even has the factory AM/FM deck with a working cassette player, and when he bought this is no joke, when he bought the 4Runner, in the deck was Phil Collins' Holland's no jacket required. While we were out in Nederland, which is the poor man's aggro crag, we passed a number of hitchhikers, their voices heavy with the weight of weed and their thumbs out in front of them like hobo knapsacks in reverse. The owner of this 4Runner told us that those people out there that you see hitchhiking along the road, they're what you call trustafarians. The 4Runner is a different kind of animal from the Chrysler Conquest, and we put these reviews back to back to illustrate a point. For many cars from mainstream manufacturers, casual enthusiasts only care about the badge, like sweatshop t-shirts. For a lot of people, a Toyota or a Chrysler is just a daily driver. And for those people, hardly any of their own soul will make contact with it. But those same cars are embraced by a completely separate set of individuals who put their own blood, sweat, and tears back into it because they know the potential that lies within the metal cage. And they know what a few changes can really do. This was the first time I have ever driven off-road. I am a complete novice and I'm at the wheel of this unbelievable machine bought and maintained and built by a dedicated off-road enthusiast. It is eerie how good this 4Runner is off-road with this setup.
We're going to bring him around. Here we go. Here's a movie time. Out of Moab.
What I didn't understand until I got out and started filming this is how hard this suspension is working and how steady it feels up above.
Follow the track, stay a little left.
Okay.
There you go. And then just slowly let it follow its way through. Because, I mean, you have to think what just happened right there. There you go.
What happened? What, where?
Your back tire just dropped probably 2 feet.
Oh.
Yeah, right back there. So that's the kind of weird things that are going on while you're doing this.
This is one of the cars from the road trip that I wish I could have taken with me. It felt superhuman driving this thing over logs, over huge things that I thought unpassable. I was sad to see it go, and like so many days on this road trip, I didn't want it to end. As a cultural pallbearer, I remember when the Conquest disappeared, when the headlights went down for the last time. I remember when 4Runners of the 80s were replaced with the gaudy America-loving suburban exceptionalism reinforcing tank models that sat on the market like a fat guy leaning his flaccid dick rest on his wife as long as she's fallen asleep. The marriage has dissolved like Alka-Seltzer tablets in a glass by the bedside, and they struggle to justify their earlier attraction to one another. Her catching bits of Letterman as she fights sleep, him pounding away, balls slapping against her fleshy Grand Canyon thighs. Sex is just one long, sweaty push-up now, like feeding a retractable cord back into the iron after the button has stopped working. The notion that bigger is better excuses sluggishness, because bigger isn't better. Technology and sleek design and intense branding isn't better either. This 4Runner is better than modern SUVs. Even without all the modifications, this car dominates. We can't lose our identity to modern plastic. It's true that modern SUVs are way safer than this with a million airbags and crumple zones. But the danger is being lost because it's being pushed farther and farther away from our hands. This SUV is slow. It's quite slow. And up here in the altitude, it's even slower. But the feeling of driving it is electric. Driving this 4Runner raises up that unearthly fear excitement in your stomach that you haven't felt since the first time you rose and sailed over the first crest and dived down into the gully at Noble's Grove on the Phoenix. Newer cars sacrifice character for the sake of safety. The new 4Runners are like Pinocchios with no blue fairy. They look the part, act the part, and they even sound the part. But they'll never be real boys, no matter how long or how hard Geppetto has slaved away. But the 80s 4Runners will still exist, and that's why you see the prices holding steady and going up on Craigslist. We all want them, because we want our individuality back.
I like the Yoda 4Runner from 86, gotta off-road it. I like the Yoda 4Runner from 86. I go off-roading as long as it is in a Toyota, 'cause the runner we share is better than my old daily driver. The road is hard, but it won't take it easy on me, 'cause the runner we share will never leave our buds soft and supple. Brand new review of a 4Runner coming from Toyota, saying all that we want is to go to Moab.